These are going to be the exercise demonstrations now for day 2 exercises. These are the exercises that Mike will be doing in the DVD. So Chris is just going to pick up these weights here. Remember, picking them up in a squat position. The first exercise we're doing here is called a static lunge. So Chris is going to take a big step back here, and the weights are just going to be hanging out at your sides with the palms facing you. And when you do a lunge, you're going to drop it straight down. So let's do a couple lunges for them, Chris. So as you can see, when he comes down, his upper body is straight, his chest is up, he's looking straight ahead. And as you can see, have a look at his front knee when he's doing it. The knee is only bending. Your knee should never rock forward, and your knee should never go beyond your toes. So as you come down, you're sticking the hips out, and you're trying to drop the back knee down just before it touches the ground. Everyone's going to have different leg strength, so if you can't get down all the way, try going halfway or quarter way. However far you can go will be good. And then, Chris, let's just go both feet together now. And when you put the weights down, same thing, you're just going to squat down and place them on the ground. And this is the static lunge. This is a third exercise that I'll be doing in day 2 exercises. This exercise is called fast feet. So Chris is already in position here. His feet are hip width apart. And what you're going to do for the fast feet, Chris is just going to bend his knees and lean over slightly. He's going to have his bum and hips sticking out. His arms are going to be bent in this position right here. And all he's going to do is vibrate the toes off the ground. So as you can see, his heels are going to be off the ground. Let's turn to the side, Chris, show him a side view. So as you can see, his bum is sticking out, his back is straight, and he's slightly bent over. You got to keep the bend of the knees. You can't fake it and just bend over at the waist. You want to keep the knees bent and keeping those toes vibrating off the ground. So let's stand up, Chris. Just rest it for a couple seconds. Now I want you to go back in position. I want you to show everyone how some people commonly do it just by stepping it out on the spot. So this is what I don't want to see, guys. I don't just want to see you stepping it. I want to see you vibrate. So show the vibration again, Chris. You want to vibrate those toes off the ground. And this is a fast feet. These are Chris's exercises now he's going to do in day 2. So Chris is going to get set up with the band. The first move he's going to do is called a band squat. So you remember when you step on the band, you're going to step on it with your feet right in the middle so it doesn't come up and bite you. And Chris is going to have his feet hip width apart as he's doing this exercise. So Chris is going to bring the band up behind right now. So bring it up behind, Chris. So as you can see, he's going to have the palms facing out. The band is just going to be right at the side of his shoulders. Now let's do a couple squats, Chris. Good. So as you come down into a squat, notice how he's sticking his bum out. It's like he's sitting in a chair as he comes down. What you want to take notice of is his knees as he comes down. The knees are just bending. Same thing as the lunge. They're never rocking forward. And you're going to keep the chest up much as you can as you come down. So you want to come down till you feel your butt is about knee height. And if that's too hard to get down that low, then you would only go half that distance. You want to go as far as you can handle that. And this is the band squat. The second exercise Chris is going to be doing in day 2 is called a sumo squat. So he's going to be set up in the exact same position he was for the band squat, except his feet are going to be a little wider apart. So let's spread them a little wider, Chris, and we're going to angle the toes out. A sumo position is you're going to have your toes angled out. And as you can notice, you want the heels just a little bit wider than the hips when you come down. Okay, Chris, so let's come down into the squat again. Good, so it's the same thing, guys. As he comes down, I want you to take notice of where his toes are pointed. His toes are angled out to the side, so when he comes down, his knees are going to angle out to the sides. You always want to make sure that your knees are tracking in the same position your toes are pointed. So the same thing, his bum is coming down to about knee height. He's keeping the chest up. And same thing, if it gets too hard to go down that low, try going halfway, quarter way. Do what you can. This is the sumo squat with the bands. Okay, guys, the third exercise Chris is going to be doing on day 2 is called a star squat with the calf raise. So Chris is already in squat position here. He's going to have his feet hip width apart, and he's going to have his arms straight with his fingers pointed out. So come down into a squat, Chris. So his arms are going to be at his sides as he comes down. As he comes up, he's going to swing his arms up into a star position. There we go. So as I said, there's going to be a calf raise at the top. So as you come up onto the squat, you're going to push up onto your toes and get the heels off the ground high as you can. Good. So what you want to remember on this exercise, guys, it's not just a leg move. You're using your arms to get you up too. So don't just let your arms go limp on you. You actually want to use those arms as you're going up and down. So keep your upper body strong as you're going up and down. Same thing, keep the chest up as you come down and pushing right up onto the toes. If it gets too hard to do the calf raise at the top, all you got to do is keep your feet flat on the ground. Put them flat, Chris, and you can make it a little easier that way. And this is a star squat with the calf raise. And these are the exercises Joanna's going to be doing now in the day 2 exercises. This one's called the one-legged squat thrust, and this is going to be your first and second exercise. So to do the one-legged squat thrust, what Chris is going to do is he's going to lift one foot off the ground right now, and it's just going to stay hovering above the ground. So what he's going to do, he's going to squat down and place his hands on the ground in a push-up position. The palms are right under his shoulders, and he's going to jump his feet back until he's in a push-up position, and then he's going to jump back. And then you're just going to stand up. Good. So this is a one-legged squat thrust. Let's do a couple more for him, Chris. Perfect. So when you jump the feet, guys, what you want to remember, look at his upper body when he does it. His upper body, his shoulders are going to stay up where the hands are. You don't want to jump your upper body back, just the lower body is jumping back. Good. So let's just stand up and rest for a second, Chris. If that gets too hard, guys, the one-legged squat thrust, it really gets up the heart rate. So if it gets too hard, all you have to do is slow it down. If your breathing is out of control, if you feel faint or if you feel dizzy at all, which is possible from going up and down if you're not used to it, all you have to do is march out on the spot and catch your breath. You don't have to get to that point. Okay, so if you want to make this move a little bit easier, let's go down again, Chris. Lift one foot off the ground. All you would do is go down into the position, is kick one foot out halfway. Just kick it out half the distance, and that'll make it a lot easier to come up each time. Perfect. So that's what you would do if you wanted to make it easier. If you want to make it a little more advanced, what you're going to do is you're going to jump off your toes at the top of the movement. So let's see that one, Chris. So as you jump in, you're going to jump up off the toes just like that. So always do the move that you can do with good form. You guys, you want to use good form every time you're doing these exercises. And this is a one-legged squat thrust. The third exercise Joanna's going to be doing on day 2 is called a side shuffle. So as you see, we have 2 strips set up here. If you don't have 2 strips at home, you could fold a tea towel in half, 2 of them, so you don't trip over them. And you're just going to have them set up about 1.5 feet apart. So let's get set up for the side shuffle, Chris. What you're going to do, you're going to have 1 foot right in the middle and 1 foot out wide. So you're going to be in a squat position to start off. So let's come down into a squat, Chris. Good. So remember the squat, your bum is sticking out. You're going to have the knees bent, the chest is up, and you're just going to shuffle out, Chris, to one side and shuffle back to the other side. Good. So you're going to keep shuffling back and forth. As you can see, 1 foot always stays in the middle of the strips as you're going. So as you can see, he's staying down in the squat position as he's going side to side. You don't want to stand up in between. So sky's the limit, guys. If the legs are good to go, if your heart rate is okay, if you can handle it, you're going quicker. If it gets too hard, all you got to do is slow it down. So let's step it out one at a time, Chris, to make it a little bit easier. If it gets too hard, if your heart rate's up too high, you can step it out one at a time. And this is your third move for Joanne, the side shuffle.